That morning in Flagstaff, the wind was chilly and dry, sweeping against the windows with a threat. Within her still house, Meri Brown sat still at the side of her pale cream sofa. Her hands lay softly in her lap, but the telltale trembling of her fingers revealed the tempest boiling beneath her serene surface. The quiet in the room hung heavy with tension, not from a single instance, but from years of unspoken truths, concealed behind the veneer of a harmonious family. But what happens when decades of silence finally get to be heard? Wind started to blow, shaking the glass panes of the windows as if nature itself was trying to get her to talk. Meri had long been in her role, the dutiful wife, the fixer, the peacekeeper, so that the public face of the family might make it through yet another season, another interview, another scandal. Her sacrifices had constructed something, yes, but not a family. What they built was a facade, a silent kingdom founded upon manipulation, deception, and nicely cultivated optics. And now that kingdom was on the brink of collapse. There were hundreds of miles in between, in Utah, where Christine leaned over the kitchen counter, reading through a spreadsheet Janelle had sent over. Her fingers dug into the countertop, arms supporting her body as if preparing to take a blow. The figures seemed innocuous, lines of dates, payments, transfers. But every line uttered betrayal, land transfers, hijacked funds, LLC documentation, and a trend that could no longer be dismissed. If you're brand new here, welcome to Sister Wives Underground. Don't forget to like. That's right, let's discuss the receipts. These weren't merely decisions made for business. These were deliberate actions, landed, deeds transferred, family money quietly diverted. One name stood out over and over, Monica. In complex legal pleadings, Monica was given authority over what had been promised as pooled assets. Concealed in plain view, this shadow empire had long been forming, and the women, they were left blind. Christine's throat tightened as she scanned the spreadsheet again. The woman she once embraced with sisterly love had been building an empire not beside them, but behind them. She grabbed her phone and dialed Janelle. No pleasantries, just one statement. "I think it's time." A pause, then Christine's voice, unwavering. "Meri's in." What ensued wasn't a circus, it was an understated, deliberate resistance. The three women started gathering in private, out backyards, cabins, even in dark-colored cars. Revenge didn't motivate them, but the desire for truth. For once they had more than instincts, they had evidence, legal records, signatures, recordings, and paper trails tracing back to deceit. Meri had been prepared. She had been amassing documents for years, unauthorized receipts from travel, business charges to accounts they shared, and more disturbingly, unauthorized land transfers. There was one transaction that caught her eye, a withdrawal of their shared funds channeled through Robyn's business, backed by Cody's signature. And then there was the voicemail. Robyn's voice, clear and careless, saying, "Once it's all under us." That clip changed everything. Janelle knew all along. She'd been asking questions for years, only to be pushed away. Cody would say, "You don't get how money works," or "Robyn's taking care of it. We just have to have faith in her." But now Janelle could see it plain as day. It wasn't naivety. It was gaslighting, finessed, intentional, and intensely controlling. Christine's marriage was already over. Her conscience was clear, but her wounds were new. Janelle had crept away years ago, emotionally distancing herself while still bound up in the paperwork of a life constructed on mutual deceptions. But Meri was the wild card. The woman most publicly embarrassed, the one who had been catfished, rejected, and emotionally exiled, was now the strongest of them all. Her pain had crystallized into purpose. She didn't seek revenge, she sought accountability, and she was willing to rally the troops. And so, unannounced, they came in. Robyn's house, more like a mansion, stood as a symbol of the imbalance. Towering, pristine, and cold, it overshadowed the modest homes the others had endured for years. But this time, the women didn't arrive as victims. They came armed with truth. So what happens when the lies can no longer hide behind love, loyalty, or legacy? That's what we're about to find out. Grasping a folder full of proof, Christine led the way. Janelle trailed behind her, eyes acute but face impassive. A few steps in the rear, Meri followed, each step a covert assertion. I will no longer be silenced. When the front door swung open, Robyn stood in the doorway. Her mascara-darkened eyes widened in disbelief as she took in the sight of all three women. "What in the world is this?" she stammered, her voice already cracking. Christine brushed past her with no hesitation. "We're here for answers," she said coldly, "and this time you're going to listen." Inside, the living room was as spotless and untouched as a showroom, but tension filled the room as the women held their ground. Seconds later, Cody entered, his face instantly moving from bewilderment to annoyance. "What is going on here?" he snapped. Without saying a word, Janelle slapped the file down on the kitchen counter. "You've been stealing from us, from the family, from your own kids," she snapped. "Don't even bother to deny it." Cody's face turned red. "That's ridiculous. I've only ever attempted to—" "Hoard," Meri cut in, her voice as cold as ice. "You constructed her a palace while we struggled. You used our sacrifices to make her a queen." Robyn's lower lip was shaking as she started to defend herself. "You're twisting this. I didn't—" Christine laughed, a bitter, icy sound that sliced through the air. "Don't cry, Robyn. That doesn't work anymore. What came next was not pandemonium, not shrieking. It was silence, calculated, lethal." One after another, the women produced evidence like knives spread out on a surface. Itemized reports, illegitimate transactions, voicemails, invoices. All of it carefully laid out. Cody flailed, protested, deflected. Robyn swung between sanctimony and pretended powerlessness. But none of it hit home. The deception was shattered. Then Meri looked at Cody and locked eyes with him. The burden of decades waited in their gaze. Her voice was firm but laden. I pleaded with you to look at me. I thought if I kept quiet, if I forgave you, if I loved you enough, you'd let me in." He remained silent. "You said I was disposable," she continued, her voice building. "You said love had to be earned, but what you cared about was control. And when you couldn't control me, you left me." Robyn cried silently alongside him. Meri stood and faced her. "You stole from me. You stole from us. And you did it playing the victim." Then she spun around and walked off. Janelle and Christine trailed behind. Their silence was stronger than any words. The next day, headlines blew around the internet. Cody Brown accused of financial misconduct by ex-wives. Social media was in an uproar. Fans called for TLC to cancel the show. Adult children of the Browns started posting cryptic but revealing messages. Logan posted an old picture of his mother with the words, "The truth always finds the light." Cody, in an attempt at damage control, made a reaction video. He raved, he contradicted himself, he dodged. Robyn sat next to him, mascara smudging her face, holding onto his arm. Once she muttered under her breath, "They've always hated me." No one believed her anymore. In the ensuing weeks, Robyn withdrew. She refused to answer calls. Neighbours spotted her walking the yard late at night, muttering to herself, obviously unraveling. Cody grew bitter in interviews. He called his former wives liars, traitors, jealous. But the public didn't accept it. TLC shelved production quietly, indefinitely. Months later, under a clear sky and a soft breeze, Meri, Janelle, and Christine stood together on the ridge of Coyote Pass. The land beneath them had once symbolized a dream: homes, legacy, family. Now it was a graveyard of broken promises. "I'm not angry anymore," Janelle said softly. "Neither am I," Christine added. "I'm just done." Meri absorbed the barren landscape, her tone level and conclusive. Let them have the grime, they're already up to their necks in it. And for the first time in decades, all three women smiled, not because they had succeeded, but because they were at last utterly free. For good. Envision being the owner of a beautiful $2.1 million house in Flagstaff, Arizona. Everybody's dream, isn't it? But what lies beneath the glossy real estate photos and idyllic family memories is a money story much more complex than that. Before settling into their present Flagstaff residence, Cody and Robyn Brown were said to be balancing enormous mortgage payments. So enormous, in fact, that they were still financing their old place while attempting to keep up the new one. Some may think that reality TV fame translates to unlimited fortune and security, but looks can be misleading. Money troubles do not always present as empty pockets. Some go by the name designer jewelry and ride luxury vehicles. Let's get into it. While the Brown family became famous because of their hit long-running show Sister Wives, that doesn't equate to them drowning in dough. There have been rumours circulating for years that they've been spending more than they have. Too bad the truth is a lot greyer. While Cody and Robyn are probably not absolutely bankrupt, they certainly haven't been immune to financial troubles. In reality, they just sold the family land at Coyote Pass for $1.5 million. A clear indication that major decisions are being made, perhaps under financial duress. And don't forget the past. In 2005, Cody and Meri Brown both filed for bankruptcy. The drive for a more glamorous life, adorned with luxury cars, designer bling such as David Yurman, and a Hollywood-style home, appears to be an enduring desire of Cody's, especially when it comes to life with Robyn. At what cost? They were reportedly paying over $11,000 every month in mortgage payments. Yes, just to keep their housing situation. That's not even including the extras. Cody and Robyn, for instance, reportedly built a custom Flintstone-style sink into one of their homes, just one of countless indulgent details that mark their style as extravagant. Robyn, specifically, has confessed to being okay with spending money in order to enhance their standard of living, even if it makes Cody uneasy at times. And there's history involved in that spending. Before she was even eligible for a house with the family in Las Vegas, the Browns had to intervene and pay out more than $30,000 in her own personal debt. That included Victoria's Secret pajama bills. Yes, seriously. Robyn went on to describe that she required those very pajamas due to her long legs and build, something the company supposedly accommodates. Although her reasoning was perhaps genuine, the web was not so kind. She was attacked by critics who asked what she was thinking and accused her of extravagance while other members of the family were barely scraping by. Was it all a show, though? Most fans feel that Robyn shouldn't be so judged. Prior to marrying Cody, she was a single mother trying her best to raise 2 kids. Like countless others, she used credit cards to get by and found herself deep in debt. It's a familiar tale for millions of people, except most don't find themselves appearing on national television for it. Nevertheless, after she married Cody, her living standards increased enormously, and some claim, perhaps a bit too emphatically. One jaw-dropping report, Robyn once spent $70,000 on American Girl dolls. Not a vehicle, not schooling, dolls. It's the type of figure that leads others to ask, how deep in the black are they really? Even Cody and Christine's daughter, Gwen Brown, has chimed in, accusing her father of a reputation for lavish, even reckless spending. Whether he's shopping to placate Robyn or pursuing a fantasy of wealth, it's certain Cody has no qualms about throwing money at issues until issues get too large to ignore. Janelle, at least, had had enough. She quit her spiritual marriage to Cody, citing financial stress as one of the last straws. The cost of shelling out $11,000 a month on 2 mortgages simply was not sustainable. Janelle once revealed that she gave and gave to the Brown family, working all the time while others spent freely. This tale is only beginning, but one thing's certain: living in luxury does not ensure fiscal calm. Often it conceals the tempest just below the surface. Year after year, Janelle Brown bore more than her fair share of the burden, in quiet and steady ways. She was the one to prepare hot meals the children couldn't seem to stop eating, the one who maintained the household with machine-like efficiency. Christine added value in terms of nourishing, order, and emotional availability. Meri even added steadily, making appearances in spite of the disintegration of her own marriage. But Robyn lives like a queen. While the other women devoted their time, energy, and money to assist in the construction of the Brown family, Robyn now enjoys the spoils in a manner none of them ever experienced. This disparity is the cause of profound resentment among the ex-wives, and it's also the reason questions about Cody and Robyn's finances continue to fan intense controversy. Look at their way of life. Cody and Robyn reside in a sprawling $2 million plus home. They travel in style. Cody's white Mercedes, for instance, is as stylish as it is expensive. His bling features several Rolex watches and flashy David Yurman jewelry. He's even been seen sporting a Heart of the Ocean necklace, an upscale flourish that suggests just how far he's willing to go in terms of looks. Is all this within their reach? That is the question. Audiences have begun to catch on, however, that while Cody and Robyn live it up, the rest of them must rebuild. Christine and Janelle, for example, left the communal life with nearly nothing. Janelle, who worked outside of the house for decades to help support the family, had to start over. She's now growing her own business, Tata Farms, a flower farm in North Carolina, and starting construction on a new home, her way. Meri, likewise, is making her way. She operates Worthy Up, an online forum devoted to self-worth and empowerment. None of them live like Cody and Robyn, but each has built something for themselves from scratch. No financial cushion. And this is the crux of it. The problem isn't what Cody spends, it's who he spends it on. That's the wound that won't close. The selective support, the favoritism. Cody and Robyn now call themselves the core family. It's a phrase that makes the others, and their kids, feel left out, set apart, and erased. The irony? Even during their so-called honeymoon period, Cody and Robyn don't seem to be dwelling in paradise. Quite the contrary, insiders and fans alike speculate that their spender-palooza may be driving them apart. Money stress doesn't evaporate just because the spotlight moves on. And now, Cody's withdrawing to an entirely different universe. You wouldn't assume Cody Brown to be a huge Star Wars aficionado on first blush, but his memorabilia collection reveals him otherwise. From intergalactic models to limited edition action figures, his shelves are like a story of flight. Among them is an elaborate model of the Millennium Falcon, a vessel famed for its down-to-earth grit, its rebel's allure, and its captain, Han Solo. There's something significant about that. Robyn reportedly believes Cody is unintentionally sabotaging their marriage. Maybe, or maybe in the wreckage of his public image, Cody is searching for something stable, familiar, and heroic, something he's no longer seen as. After all, when 3 wives walk away, your son passes away, and fans criticize your every move. Nostalgia starts looking a lot like refuge. Maybe the toys are nostalgic reminders of better days, before the drama, before the fractures, before the limelight shone so brightly as to become a microscope. Cody is too readily typecast as the villain of this tale, more Darth Vader than loving father, but that's just a part of the galaxy. The actual Cody may be more a fallen hero and less a dark lord, adrift in the stars, attempting to navigate a path back to himself. His collection, which was once dismissed as some eccentric diversion, now says something more. His Millennium Falcon, once allegedly known as the Wayward Son, a reference to the rock ballad Carry On, Wayward Son, represents a desire for freedom, a desire for identity. But if he does find his way back, or drifts increasingly further from the family that he contributed to creating, that is yet to be determined. To see Cody Brown's current life, you must consider his interests, beginning with the bookshelves stacked high with Star Wars memorabilia. There, among legendary heroes and iconic spacecraft, is the Millennium Falcon, the battered but resourceful ship flown by Han Solo and his trusty co-pilot Chewbacca. And perhaps, Cody identifies with Han Solo, the roguish hero, the irreverent guardian, battling for love throughout the galaxy. For Cody, Robyn is more than a wife. She's his Princess Leia, his true love among a world that never fully got him. They project themselves as the hero of a sweeping cosmic romance, a love so intense it's scripted for the stars. And like all great fantasy, it doesn't always work in the real world. The chemistry Han and Leia shared was electric, rare even for Hollywood, but even they eventually broke up. Because fantasy, as strong as it is, always gets challenged by reality. In real life, Cody accumulates Star Wars figures. Robyn, for her part, also has a comfort collection, one that raised plenty of eyebrows. $70,000 worth of American Girl dolls. That eye-popping amount isn't merely about splurging, it's about control, comfort, and security. Like Cody's collectibles, Robyn's collection is a private universe where she doesn't have to account for public judgment. Perhaps this communality of romanticism, their shared escape into fantasy, holds them together. It's something the other wives never experienced quite as strongly, and there's more. Based on fan comments online, Cody also has a General Grievous action figure. For fans of Star Wars, that's significant. Grievous was a once great warrior converted into a killer by a cataclysmic loss. His evolution was propelled by pain, revenge, and the desperate need to guard what remained. Maybe Cody sees himself in that too, a man who feels misunderstood, misrepresented, even demonized for loving someone so much. Grievous used 4 lightsabers. Cody uses accusations, blame, and the protection of a marriage he now sees as all that is left to him. To most people, Robyn is a dark queen, the manipulator of Cody's downfall, but in his opinion, she's his anchor, his everything. If he must be the bad guy in order to keep her, so be it. And then there is his Transformers series, another tellingly subtle gesture. These are action figures founded on the premise of transformation, of hiding one persona in order to become another. Cody, who was once so vocally supportive of polygamy, has completely changed into a monogamously married man. As has Optimus Prime. He has reconstituted himself, rebuilt himself from scratch. At what expense, though? Toys, mementos, and memorabilia reveal more about individuals than they know. They expose interior realms, comforts, regrets, desires. Cody's collections suggest a man grasping at nostalgia, reinventing himself through the prism of heroes and outlaws, continuing to attempt to make sense of the turmoil that he had a hand in unleashing. And Robyn? To him, she's the heroine, the one. Maybe his personal Megan Fox on a bike, maybe a galaxy-rescuing Leia. Either is the kind of woman he'd risk everything for. Cody feels he's punished, no, not for treachery, but because he fell in love. He sees that as no sin. And perhaps it isn't. But that love came at a price. 3 wives departed, battered, broken-hearted, and seeking solace outside of polygamy. Fantasy's price? Too often, it's the actual people who are left behind. Sister Wives was never solely about plural marriage. It was about power, sacrifice, identity, and how vulnerable those things are when dreams run into reality. Cody Brown didn't lose just his family. He lost the fantasy that he could keep it all together. Perhaps it's time to cease and desist with the portrayal of Cody Brown as a one-dimensional bad guy. Because beneath the headlines and the melodrama, there is a grieving father. A man whose sorrow, much like that of General Grievous's, has defined his every move. When a person loses something that previously defined them, their actions don't necessarily compute, they just hurt. Cody hasn't always made the smartest choices, but even poor choices have their origins in brokenness. And sometimes sorrow goes undercover, under the guise of anger, control, or excess. In a remarkable display of action, Cody apparently fought to give Janelle and Meri more of the Coyote Pass property, a move that could have said more than any apology. For when words are empty, actions betray truth. Though Cody and Robyn currently reside in a luxurious $2.1 million mansion, complete with royal decor and a royal bedroom, the comparison is jarring. Janelle, his ex-partner, is starting from scratch. She's struggling financially, and so are some of the rest of the family members. Wealth, however, does not necessarily bring peace. Even with opulence all around them, Rolex watches, David Yurman diamonds, and designer collectibles, Cody and Robyn are not immune to tragedy. They are indeed still recovering from one that devastated the whole Brown family: the death of Garrison Brown, which occurred on March 5th last year. Garrison was more than a son. He was an anchor in the family's emotional heritage. And in heartbreaking discord, Cody was estranged from him when he died. That unresolved distance hangs now as an echoing reminder of what had been lost and can never be mended. Cody can play at being Robyn's king, but even kings struggle with their demons in secret. Their bedroom royal purple can represent power, but history teaches us crowns are heavy, and the heads that adorn them tended to be tormented. Cody knows pressure. He's a father of 18, now 17, children. He's felt what it's like to be needed, to be counted on for strength, and to fail. His strength as a patriarch once commanded, but now it chastises. The kingdom he established is fractured. Some of his children shun him. Others have gone completely. When the camera shows him now, we usually catch a guy off kilter with himself, yelling, blaming everyone else, unwilling or unable to acknowledge where things went wrong. But perhaps that anger is only disguised grief. Perhaps Robyn's taste for costly dolls and Cody's fashion accessories are merely consumerism, hiding a far greater emptiness. The fact is, Cody and Robyn are surviving, not thriving. And so are the wives who left. They're not evil either. They attempted. They provided years of sacrifice, love, effort. And when it could not be sustained anymore, they opted for freedom. Restarting isn't betrayal, it's survival. Ultimately, Cody cannot avoid confronting himself. To come to terms with the heartache, the errors, and the silence he could not repair. Garrison passed away before they could be made whole. That anguish, that irreparable regret, will remain with Cody for all time. And that's real. No reality program can right the pain of a father who out of time. No estate home can buffer a man against the suffocating pressure of lost moments. So as the world discusses Cody's decisions and fans chastise his expenses, know this: even kings mourn. Even villains care. And every now and then the tale won't have a conclusion, only a reckoning. Cody Brown tends to get angry when he's overwhelmed with guilt. He makes the pain turn into blame, and it comes out on those people he used to say he loved. He's even confessed to this behavior, anger as a defense mechanism, a means to push away the shame he can't process. In one particularly vicious moment, Cody announced he never loved his former wives, a heart-wrenching slap in the face to women who were by his side for decades. Soon, he confessed that he spoke out of anger. He wanted to hurt them because they deserted him, and breaks like this, they're never neat. Now, Cody stays cooped up in the high-end Flagstaff residence he shares with Robyn. It's a fancy, comfortable nest on the outside, but beneath that lies heartache, dysfunction, and regret. Robyn gets her anxiety soothed with her $70,000 collection of American Girl dolls. Cody holds on to status symbols like expensive watches, luxury cars, and fantasy trinkets. It's elegance masquerading as escapism, but nothing in the world can substitute for what's lacking: connection. And if anyone desperately needs genuine happiness, it's Cody. Cody's relationships with most of his older children are strained. One of his own is deceased. His son, Garrison Brown, took his own life in March 2024. And, alas, father and son weren't even communicating when it occurred. Robyn has quietly confessed that Cody is hard to live with. Perhaps he's unconsciously sabotaging the only relationship he has left, because deep down he doesn't feel worthy of love. It's a cruel cycle that many hurt people get caught up in, assuming that they're not deserving of happiness, so they behave in a way that guarantees they lose it. But the truth is here, everyone should be happy, even imperfect, broken individuals like Cody Brown. Cody and Robyn look like they are living large to outsiders. A-list expenditures, palace bedrooms, fashion cars. Appearance is misleading, however. The supposedly royal bedroom may be fit for a king, but is it a haven? Can any house that is so full of tension, grief, and emotional disconnection be a refuge? It looks like not. In the months since Garrison's death, Cody's social media life has all but disappeared. His most recent Instagram post, on March 5th, was a mourning tribute to his son. He shut down comments. He hasn't posted since then. And perhaps that silence speaks louder than words ever could. Perhaps he doesn't know how to face the world anymore. Perhaps he's drowning in guilt. Because not only did he lose a son, he also lost the chance to say, "I'm sorry." Cody has not taken full responsibility for the fallout of his failed marriages. In public and on camera, he remains defensive, resentful, and at times startlingly disrespectful. He's even gone so far as to say Robyn is the only woman he's ever loved, insulting several women very deeply, including Meri, Janelle, and Christine, who spent decades of their lives building family with him. His partiality didn't hurt only the wives, it shattered the trust of his children. Most of Cody's children have opted for distance rather than relationship. And, unfortunately, the same was the case with Garrison too. When Garrison passed away, he and Cody were estranged. That unresolved hurt now hangs like a shadow over everything. And it's a harsh reminder of how words, behavior, and pride can construct walls that love cannot climb over in time. This isn't a tale of family drama. It's about what occurs when a man can't or won't keep what is most important to him, and is left with luxury, but not legacy. What do you believe? Can Cody ever mend the wounds? Or is this the cost of the life he has lived? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this analysis, thoughtful and informative, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell, because there's always more truth to reveal in the lives of sister wives. Thanks for watching.